Market vitals, the levels you need to triage the market, Matt. The market is a patient. Sometimes it's healthy. Sometimes it's not so healthy. And sometimes it's like Michael Jackson and just is up for days and days and days until the doctor says, you know what? I'm going to give you enough horse tranquilizer. Oh, wait a second. I killed him. I didn't mean to do that. I think that's where we're at. Who was Michael Jackson's doctor?
I don't remember.
Definitely gave him a horse tranquilizer. Couldn't sleep. You can't sleep on this market. Although,
no, he was taking the stuff they give you for the colonoscopy.
That stuff's unreal, by the way.
Well, that's what he was taking.
Any of you younger generation waiting on the colonoscopy.
It's the best snap you could ever. It's the best snap you can have, and it takes 15 minutes. So you're like, wait, you were in and out of my butt in 15 minutes? And I slept like that?
Oh, I woke up telling Lynn I hate my brother Paul. Paul, I don't hate you. I love you, man. I love you. But somehow under the influence of anesthetic, not so much. I don't know.
Not so much.
Not so much. Matt, as the market, it's like a soap opera.
As the world turns, Bobby, as the world turns.
Yeah, this is as the equities grind higher. Never a lower low, always a higher high.
Always and forever.
We were on.
It's like an Isley brother. It's like an Isley Brothers song. Always and forever.
Always and forever. From the Motown hit machine. We were on the Benzinga broadcast. Thank you guys for that. And I said I actually called us all out as traders. Like, had you turned on any midterm momentum model, you're not out yet. It's grinded. Now we're 10 days in, Matt. 10 days in. I saw a couple other articles from highly esteemed, people that have been in the business for years and years saying this has never been seen before. This bear market rally. I guess Kramer's right.
Kramer was right.
Kramer's right.
Well, I said it yesterday. I haven't done the back studies, but I for the life of me cannot remember an 18% rally in 10 days, like 10 trading days, not 10 so that that played out over 2 weeks of trading. But that's crazy. That's unbelievable.
Whatever. I'm disappointed that I didn't, because here's the thing. Like you
don't be disappointed. But this is the thing about these types of rallies. Everybody starts adding money that they didn't put on, and they're like, I just would have bought 1,000 of this, 1,000 of that. I'm like, stop. We'll go back to normal here soon.
End of the month, end of the quarter, and then we turn the two-way switch back on, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Matt, breaking news. It's amazing how many times we have breaking news that we already covered. The Lions are officially in the process of possibly. That's like
they talk like us.
Exactly. When we talk about a trade, it's guaranteed probably. All right. And as a matter of fact, let me do this. That's our risk disclosure. Everything we talk about is guaranteed probably. You can lose all your money and then some. So be careful. But the Lions, what the Lions need is an alternate color combination. That's what I think. I'm so sick of I don't know, what kind of blue is that?
Honolulu blue, Bob.
Honolulu blue. I mean, there is nothing further from Detroit than Honolulu. I mean, Mars is closer to Detroit than
I don't
Honolulu.
know. Have you been to Waikiki? Waikiki and Detroit are similar, dude.
I'm calling bullshit all day. How similar are they, on a
I mean, Detroit's got the Detroit River, and Waikiki has the strip of a lot of drugs and a lot of prostitution, and it's not a nice place. Waikiki is not a nice place.
Oh, okay. All I wanted to point out is how cutting edge Market Vitals is.
So Honolulu blue is appropriate because it's not a nice place in Waikiki, and they're wearing the colors. There you go.
There we go.
Making the
they
story
have a much more fierce looking lion in the depiction that I saw. like that's going to help him.
It's not the lion from The Wizard of Oz.
No. It's not a woke lion. For sure not a woke lion.
But think about that. The Cowardly Lion was a woke lion, basically, in 1939 or whenever that movie came out. He was woke.
I've
he
been
was
told
so gay. He was so gay. I mean, he was so gay in 1939. Like, he was way ahead of his time.
I've been told I can do a great Cowardly Lion on occasion.
Yeah, but you can. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I gotta think about the line. It's like, what do they got that I ain't got? Courage. All right, let's continue the charade of the show, and we're going to talk price discovery. We got some important things, but before, by far one of the coolest things that I've seen, this put a smile on my face.
I'm always here for you, Bob. I'm always trying to find the smile.
I got to tell you, Matt shared this in the network, and this was I believe this is we could actually call this the Bill Lee rally because he pitched 9 days ago.
Right.
And we're in the 10th day of the rally.
It's true. It is the Bill Lee Spaceman rally.
75-year-old Red Sox Hall of Famer Bill Lee came down from the stands holding a beer. And let's just go to the tape. 75, looking pretty good. He's all gray. You got the beer. And the greatest thing ever, and Matt, you're a giant baseball fan. I actually wasn't, especially as a kid. I became a baseball fan much later in life. Bill, how about this? Nice kick, Bill. Nice kick. And he throws, he's warming up, and he actually throws an inning here or just one batter?
I think he threw an inning because there was nobody on here. And then as they forward in the tape, you can see a guy on second base. So the guy shelled him. See, now there's a guy in second.
Nice. Look at that curveball from a 75-year-old. And how about the moxie of the kid switching up? Let me go here.
Yeah.
And watch this ball here.
The ephus. He was known for the ephus. I can't believe
we call that unlimited arc 12-inch softball where I'm from.
Yeah, but it's called the ephus and hardball. He owned it too. Dude, he was a Hall of Famer. I mean, he was awesome. And as I said to you, Bob, if you've never seen, he's got a great biography book, but you can also watch a bad iteration in the movie version called Spaceman. And I think it came out like in 2016 or so. It's not good. I'm not going to tell you it's good, but I love his story. I loved him in Stratomatic baseball. He was so good in long relief. He was so good.
Back to Stratomatic. It always comes back to Stratomatic baseball. We talk all the time about, speaking of triaging the market, but I like to think about, especially momentum modeling. I talk about baseball all the time, especially hitting, because a lifetime, 400 hitter, or by that matter, a lifetime 200 hitter, right? They go on monster streaks left and right of that long-term average, especially in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so, a long-term 400 hitter, the guy probably over a couple of weeks stretch could hit 700, right?
Rod Carew for sure.
Choke up, hit singles, Rod Carew.
Right.
I mean, there's another thing that I wanted to bring up that I forgot to, but let's.
Here's the thing I want to bring up. I said to you before we came on the show, I got 3 calls in the last 24 hours from people that have nothing to do with markets, basically pressing me for a way to get short the dollar because they've never talked about the dollar and they think it's going to zero and they think the world's falling apart. So to your point, like the press, the propaganda is working to the point where when I hear the common man talk about that type of trade and when they're talking about dollar and Forex, I'm like, oh man, the dollar's going higher is what that tells me. And
we used to say in the trading floor, it's a lot easier to fade a mush than to try to coattail somebody that's a great trader.
Now, that being said, it's not the reason alone to be in a trade. And the dollar has been selling off, the last couple of days on this propaganda after it hit an all-time, well, not an all-time high, but a new high on the move on Monday. We talked about this Monday, but it is down now almost $2. Is that right? Almost, yeah. So, let me just toss it up here real quick because I'm going to, I think it's important when this happens, just to point out, we just ran up here to 90. We were testing that high again, and now we're kind of breaking down here. If we can't hold like 97.50, Bob, yeah, we might have a move down here to 96 again. But again, if I come back to the most recent or the longer term picture, this thing is still cycling its way higher, really until it has to get below 96 for me to even become kind of bearish. And I think we're going to still go and test the par number. We got so close, 99.44, but just this type of, market intelligence or lack of intelligence,
right,
is just kind of telling me that
bad intelligence. You've been very
and look at this. I mean, and really, this is just a big bracket still really here too. I mean, as long as really, like, as long as this 88 level continues to hold, or 89, whatever it was, this is really just telling me that when we get above this, Bob, we could really. I mean, this is the thing. There's no doubt the dollar will have problems in the future. There's no doubt. I'm not saying the dollar is going to be, king dollar forever, right? Because I'm kind of in this camp too. But right now, and this is what's hard about trading, right now, right here, this is a bullish chart compared to any currency in the world, and on its own, you want to buy it.
Enough said.
And I've been long down there since 89, 90. So it's easy for me. But even if you're not, buy the dips. This is a bullish chart. It's still working its way to par. And so you've got a sell-off here of $1.50 or so that's come in the last few days. And it's the opposite of the trade that people are calling to ask me about on the retail side, which is basically, how do I get short the dollar?
Right on.
Get long gold. If that is your thesis, like you said, Bob, just buy gold, buy the futures, buy the whatever, GGG.
Well, again, I mean, the nuance of the conversation is you can't be short dollar without being long something else. I mean, right. There has to be an opposite side to the trade.
Right.
Let me share just for a second, because I just pulled it up, because we are coming into the quarter end, and here's the dollar
coming in hot
on the quarterly end. Now, if that's a 60-minute chart, you're like, this thing is, we're bracketed dead sideways. But to your point, and let me point out the nuance. As far as this thing has gone sideways, now any penetration towards your 103, and if we could close next quarter up there, this upper band's going to get kicked positive, like it did here, and like it did here, and like it did here, and like it did here. And positive slope is the nuance that nobody talks about, or positive or negative slope, that nobody talks about in standard deviation trading. A Bollinger Band is great. Yeah, you sell it all the time, the wings, except when you sell it, when it's gained slope, you're going to go to the poorhouse. That's all there is to it. That's how you go broke, fading momentum. When you start fading the slope. Put that chart back up, because back 14 or 15, the years, go back. I want to see that again. Yeah.
See those three, that's a 9-month stretch there, right?
Exactly.
So
and you'll notice,
bam, 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 that's 9 months. Guess what? We just spent 9 months basing here, and this has not turned down at all. All it did is come to a level where, basically we were before. And so there's multiple reasons why when this gets above, that level, again, it's going to go wham. Yeah, it's just going to go.
I agree.
So, and the fact that everybody's piling in the short because, the prophetic people, the fundamental people, the retail guy, they're all short the dollar right now, right? They're all short the dollar, and they're all long gold. And guess what? If you bought gold 10 years ago, you've made nothing. So there you go.
Now we're going to talk about the book here in a second, and I'll explain that. But I just wanted to bring this up because we weren't on live. We were on another show yesterday. Yesterday was National Vietnam War Veterans Day. I remember the newsreel, Matt, as a 6, 7, 8-year-old, where they were showing the news, and they were showing what they loved to show was the kill count. Us versus them, like that was going to be what swung the war. We're killing like 6 times as many as they're killing us, or whatever the count was. But I only bring this up because it's been a 30, 40-year arc, 50-year arc now of why would you trust the government? Now, what was it? The Pentagon Papers that came out and talked all about how they knew for years and years and years this was a losing proposition. And it's one thing after another where trust is like, how do you trust anything that comes out of a governmental agency? I don't know how. And right in line with that is our friend Nancy, as she's just exercised 25 options, 2,500 shares on Tesla worth $5 million. She got the $500 strike exercise. You only exercise if you're going to sell it. She's pretty good with timing the split news. I wonder if that has to be.
I think this is what it is showing us, that in fact she is in control of the Fed.
Here's
Nancy
my
Pelosi she is the head of the Fed. She's pushing the buy button. It's unbelievable.
Here's my cynical thought process. Do you have to disclose to a regulator that you're going to do a stock split before the public knows? That's a question. I don't know. Does somebody at the regulation office understand that the files have been, the papers have been filed to execute the stock split? Because that's pretty good information to have. I mean, I don't know. I'm cynical though. Don't believe me. You don't have to believe me. That's okay.
I don't believe it. You're full of it.
Matt, we're going to talk price discovery here. But to preface it, let me share this that I shared in the network that I got from one of my Intel contacts. Wings and Things. This is what the Market Vitals homepage looks like. And when you click on somebody that shares something, this is what it looks like. But anyway, it's about the bird flu, Matt. I want to point out two things here. A new bird flu plagues the U.S. 14.6 million birds have had their last rites spoken to them, and millions more across the world as this new bird flu just is catastrophic, calling left, right, and center. Birds getting called. Sarcastically, though, I wanted to, first things, chicken $3.82 a pound versus $3, about $2.99. So, pretty 30% increase. Matt?
Yeah,
I just did some math, right?
Year over year. Yeah, you're pretty good there, Bob.
But there is hope because the CDC says we got a jab for that.
Get in line, you chickens.
Here it is right here. CDC has also produced a candidate vaccine virus as a precaution. Okay, so we know that that's not going to work. So this is going to continue on. Where can we go price discovery wise here? And how about it? I shared this and you shared that the last time you were out watching games, there was what?
Yeah, no. Sunday we went to watch the Final Four games at a place to be named that you know very well, and I won't call them out on air. But they said they don't have wings. I'm like, you're a sports bar. You don't have wings?
Wings shortage is going to be real. That's what they're saying.
Like, yeah, all of our suppliers don't. Either it's shoddy product or we can't get what we need. And you've even explained that they've had some problems there over the years with
it's amazing, like the best wings in town at a place, and then they lose their supplier and they change it, and you're like, what is this? It's pigeon wings, not chicken wings.
Pigeon wings.
Anyway, let's talk some chicken. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken. Let's talk some chicken affected stocks.
Let's do it, Bob. Why don't we start with your favorite, the Colonel. Colonel is owned by Yum Brands, so why wouldn't we start there? Yum Brands went from 139 at the end of last year. Again, all retail rallied. We talked about this. Sell retail at the end of last year, and that was a great trade, right? Now we're bouncing off the bottom of value, which we should. And, we may get up here to 129 or so, but again, with the fundamental news, the fundamental news, not only of chickens, but what's going on and going out to eat. I can't see that inflation is not going to, put a dent on Yum, say, versus McDonald's, right? McDonald's still has the dollar menu. You can get a couple McDoubles for $2.
Like here's a great side bet, prop bet. At what point does the dollar menu of McDonald's just go away? It becomes a $2 menu.
Right.
It was like $5 club.
Right.
$10 shave club coming to a spot near you. Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that the input costs are not going to be beneficial anytime soon.
And that chart kind of secures that for us. The other two, kind of meat stocks, if you will. Pilgrim's Pride already took a hit. But, they must have announced some of this bird flu stuff here hitting their numbers because this happened right after their earnings this fall. So I would, it went from basically flatlining there at $28 down to 20. Hard, boom. The bottom dropped out.
And it's trying to claw its way back. A nice gap there that you could
Yeah,
sell.
I would bet it's going to have a hard time getting over here again with the news that you're talking about. But if it got back, I mean, there's two levels. I mean, you're not talking about big price range. You're only talking about a 10% range from 24 and a half up to 27. So you can
that was actually my point.
Yeah.
That gap fills when they're that small, depending on what size you're trading, obviously.
Right.
But that seems like a nice $2.
Or you could continue to pound $27 to $30 strikes on options and buy the puts, sell the calls. Well,
right on
your call, depending on how much risk you want to have. And then the
All
other
right,
one,
Chicken Little, what else have we got?
Tyson. We always talk about Tyson, and we talked about that at the end of the year, or the beginning of this year, how we thought that was probably putting in a top, and then sure enough, bam. Bob, this traded all the way to 100. I think we talked about it that day. And I said, sell it. Remember? And you were like, oh, no, buy it. And I'm like, sell it.
I want some video evidence of me saying
there is video evidence on that. You wanted to buy it because you're a momentum guy. I'm an anti-momentum guy. This is the story. Okay. I win, you lose. Momentum is overrated.
Hey, you know what I was thinking about? The momentum,
momentum is overrated unless you catch the wave as it breaks.
Well, here's the other thing too that I think that
because then you can pyramid up as it goes.
The nuance of momentum is exactly that. The Turtles, Richard Dennis, all these famous momentum players.
Yes.
From the 80s and 90s. If you're not buying new highs and adding to your position, and because you need that big runner that you've got such a fat position in,
right,
in order to compensate for the chop. Markets chop or markets trend. They don't do both.
That's correct.
And so that's another little nuance of momentum trading. It's the hardest thing to do to shitty your average. Like, I'm going to buy more now because it's higher, and you're actually shittying your average. Yeah, when you get these long runners, and back to this last stock market run, like a midterm chart, the 4-hour chart, like had you added, I mean, it hadn't looked back in 10. You're done for the year had you been a strong turtle type, Richard Dennis type momentum player.
And again, if you're buying 100 lots all the way up on the NASI, sure, I'm with you, Bob. Let's let me show you that chart, because you're right. And I talked about it. Like once the 4-hour got in control, I said we're going to 15.3, and well, we hit 15, just about 15.3 yesterday. So I'm trying to bring up this chart, but I have so many price because this is my short-term chart. This is really not a good one.
Those are bleeded over.
Anyways, the point is, if you bring up on yours at 240, bring up a 4-hour chart, because yours is going to be clean. But that 4-hour chart on this machine, I don't have it ready, so I apologize. But I have it on my other big desktop over here, my standing desk. So I would say. But bring that in right now, Bob, because you'll see that 4-hour rides the moving average beautifully all the way up.
And again, I have a slightly different looking chart, but you're going to get the same. Again, here, what did I just talk about on the dollar chart? That it's not just standard deviation.
That middle red line is probably the 10, right? That's probably it right there.
It's actually the 13, but I'm giving away secrets.
I
like 10. Unlucky numbers.
You use weird numbers. I use.
Yeah, I do. 13's a fib, by the way. Yep. But again, I mean, this thing, I don't remember anything like this.
Well, you had one buy here. So Turtles, they buy here. They buy down there on the whatever the.
You're actually like Turtles will buy on a time frame basis too. It doesn't have to retrace.
Yeah, no. But they would have bought like 15th, 16th, whatever. Right there, the third one, the third bar, right here. No. One more. Next one. Yep, that one right there. They would have bought that first, and then they would have bought up here around this. Yep, right there. That one touch. Then another one here. 2, 3. We're on like the fifth one. Now you're getting greedy though. But
again, you don't know what greedy is until it plays out.
I know, but I'm saying you got to be ready to bail here soon too. Is all I'm saying.
Sure. And I think that's what's
in your average. Honestly, is probably going to be somewhere around 14,000 anyway. So I mean, even at 14.8, you're going to be fine. It's going to be a big gainer. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just that's the type of trade. But you have to commit to it too. You have to freaking commit to it, and it's hard.
Well, again, back to classic momentum modeling and trading. that run is the one of 13 that makes it makes it back to the Pareto principle too.
Well, and
That
you
one
have
makes
to, and you have to be,
80% of your
you ha-
profit.
and you have to be able to stop 8 times, and the 2 pay for the 8. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And that's the nuance people don't get. And that's also the nuance. It's almost the opposite, but it's the same way Talib made his money. He was a don't. He was always buying the edges. He was buying tons of penny nickel slots, right? And he just waited for the events to happen. They always come. Whether it was an index, whether it was an individual name, he would buy the edges, buy the edges, puts and calls, way out, the wings. You can make a living doing that. You're going to be bored out of your mind. You better find something else to do during the times when we are, as you said, chopping, because that's not going to be a good time. But that's also the time that you have to buy those wings, because that's the time when they're cheap and quiet, and then they're going to explode when the wings come. So
wings, you know what? It comes back to wings, by the way.
It all comes back to
amazing.
wings.
Amazing the circular argument in life. Shortage of chicken wings, and if you don't buy the wings, you can't actually be successful.
And by the way, the ghost pepper wings, avoid next time.
Yeah, I'm at a date with the Louvre Museum, if you know what I mean. Holy smokes. Ghost peppers, not your friend. I don't care what they tell you.
Not your friend.
Not your friend. All right, I want to bring up one more. I'm just looking at the chart here. Again, we got the quarter end. You don't get to talk about it very much in things. But I want to bring up face crap, Matt. Let me bring face crap up on the quarterly, because it's actually done this a couple times. You had this quarter here in October of 18, this quarter here, January of 20, and now this quarter, January of 2022, where and every time it's just been a great buy the dip. I'm not so sure this time moving forward, as the whole world has had a social media awakening, and I'm not sure how the hell they message their way out of it. So interesting to see on quarterlies. And again, it's not like you're trading on this, right? We've talked about that before. You might be trading on it, but you probably got, 50 billion under management. And you're going to say, you know what, let's lighten up in this quarter in Facebook as it heads back to that up momentum level at 309.
The other thing, kind of the continuation on the dollar talk that we had earlier on retail, I'm getting that same flavor again from all the Bitcoin, nut jobs that I know, younger kids or older that are just getting into it because they got lucky and they bought it down there at 35, 36, 37,000. And now they're up, they're up big. And I'm telling them, I'm going to say it again here, Bob. It's probably a good time to take some profits in the Bitcoin. It's probably a good time.
It might be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why the fuck does it do that? Again, I got to talk to you. Know what? TradingView, sometimes you disappoint at a spectacular level.
Unless Bitcoin can get over 52, I'm not that jazzed about it.
The quarterly is actually looking much healthier. Again, just like the stock market ones. Like
the 610 is looking kind of exhausted here at the top of value, and we've been in the zone for a long time. So I'm going to go with time on this one right now until we get over 52. We're not going higher, period, until we get over 52. So you might have another 4,000 because you got up to 48 this time. So you might get in, but we're already there. We're at the top of value on this time frame, and I think the last 10 now 11 days, which has brought every asset class up except for gold,
right?
Which again, gold, you haven't made any money in 10 years anyway, so stop talking about it.
The poor gold guys. Like if you could only eat your gold, you'd be okay.
Right. I mean, it's the dumbest investment. You can't get rich on the end of the world trade. It's the dumbest trade ever. So don't even, just throw yourself out there. If the missiles start coming in, you're dead. Gold's not going to save you. You're dead.
I actually had not given that much thought, that particular nuance. You are a billionaire and there's nobody left to enjoy your money with. Congratulations.
Yeah. What are you going to find? G.I. Jane 2?
By the way, Market Vitals, Matt, take your hat off. Matt
Wow.
does not suffer. Matt does not suffer from alopecia. Although I did hear that male pattern baldness is just a form of alopecia.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
And Bruce Willis was only 22 when he did Moonlighting in 1981.
Apparently.
Lies. All lies.
Trust is fleeting in this world.
Don't you know Hollywood is part of government?
Apparently, well, they're for sure the ad agency. Unfortunately, the conservative and the Republican Party have the worst ad agency on the planet.
They don't have one. They're definitely not using Mad Men, Bob. They're definitely not using Mad Men.
Absolutely. Gordon Gekko, somebody. Give me somebody. All right. Please visit us at marketvitals.io. Please share, retweet.
Breaking news. Chris Rock's brother says P. Diddy's saying that they got together and fixed it. Will and Chris, not true. So there you go. Breaking news.
Breaking news. The ambiguity in life continues.
Because Chris Rock's brother claims Diddy was lying when he said his sibling made up with Will Smith after that Oscar slap. They got more bitching to do, Bob. They got more bitching to do.
All right, Matt. Enjoy the clown world. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Matt.